What a day! Welcome and congratulations to the ocean and energy industries, because this is really a momentum and a breakthrough that we are building up here. I'm so happy to have you here. This is Tools and my celebration of all the amazing change makers, the people, the companies out there. And now we are taking the equality work with the green transition to the next level. So we are at Europe's largest equality conference. And we are finally ready to go out with our women's initiatives together with partners from all over the world. We wanted to bring some of our biggest sources of inspiration, individuals and companies that we look up to as role models from across the ocean and energy sector. We have a fantastic team through 3 sessions today from the ocean and energy side, investors, shipping companies, founders. We also have with us Anna Solberg, we have World Economic Forum, and the leaders and founders of the Women's Energy Club of Ukraine. Throughout the program, we will honor women and celebrate 3 pioneering initiatives to accelerate gender equality. And in order to strengthen and to promote all the talented women in the marine and energy sectors, and get even more girls to use their talents and climate commitment in industries that represent solutions for the future, we have built up the global female candidate pool. Here it is. Before this official launch, we have more than 500 women from 25 countries on board. And we have, we couldn't be happier than to have all of these amazing partners with us across gender equality organizations, big corporates. We are so happy. And there is also a great need for women to start, build, and own businesses that create great new solutions. There are few female founders in general, and even fewer and very little visible ones in the ocean and energy sectors. So we believe visibility is important, both to ensure that these female founders can find the players and supporters for their growth journey, and to inspire even more women to invest and build companies themselves. That is why we are incredibly proud to launch the first global list of 100 inspirational female founders of ocean and energy. And we have the 3 countries that currently top this list. It's the US on #1, Norway, and Canada for now. But we hope this will be a difficult competition. We also launched a collaboration which involves, for these 100 female founders, the next 100 weeks we are going to spend planning the Female Founders Arctic Expedition with Statsråd Lemko in 2025. And we are partners in launching the first female-founded zero-emission shipping company. Veer Group will build small container ships powered by sails and hydrogen, aimed at the cargo owners that wants to build completely transport emission-free. And yesterday, we signed the last out of 3 agreements with Norwegian stakeholders. We are very proud to announce for the first time today that the female-owned and founded Feddy Ocean Distilleries has signed yesterday a cargo contract with Veer Group for shipping of their products. We also have Gen2 Energy on clean hydrogen on board as a strategic ecosystem partner. And we have our great supporter and advisor, Lars Erik Markussen from Heidelberg, who has mobilized the world's first green hydrogen cargo ship on board as strategic advisor. So now we are ready for a fantastic journey ahead. This is just the start. Everyone will find ways to take part in this movement. It's inclusive, it's open, it's for all of you from us. And now I am extremely honored to have one of my role models with me, our former Prime Minister, and even more important, initiator of the big high-level panel for the ocean economy, Erna Solberg, leader of the Conservative Party. Welcome on the stage.
Dear all of you, it's a great honor to welcome you to this side stage on ocean and energy, and to say a few words on the importance of ensuring an inclusive future. You know that Norway is ranking #3 on equal opportunities indexes, that the Scandinavian countries are in front of that. You know that there's a lot of areas that we are doing well on, and there are still some challenges in our society. And usually when we talk about that, we talk about violence against women, women's health, and we talk about educational opportunities. And I think all of these things are important. But it's also important to talk about the unbalance we have in businesses, that we are not tapping totally into the talent that our businesses could use when we have such a bias that we have in leading positions in our businesses. And in fact, if you really want to reach the possibilities for a real justice, a real equal opportunity society, we have to talk about why and where do we have to work on also what happens in, for example, the business world. And if you look around us, we know that the amount of CEOs in the largest companies in Norway is increasing, but it goes very slow. We know that more women are taking other types of education, and that they are going into more male-dominated areas than before, but it also goes quite slow. And I think it's important when we have this ocean and energy discussion, because ocean and energy are the future. If you look at where the business opportunities will be, where our transition as a society will be, it will be based on technology, on oceans, on energy in the future. Different types of technology. I know that the health sector has a lot of technology that we also have to ensure to do something about the demographics in Norway, challenge to our health system, but we have to look at that. So ocean and energy is our big core businesses today and will be even more important in the future. And there will be an enormous amount of business opportunities. Norway lives by the sea and off the sea, I usually say. We have a history and tradition of building our society based on the oceans. It comes from fisheries in the beginning to, of course, the maritime sector, and then to energy. Now it will also be a very important part of where we can find the solutions to the climate change. The high-level panel, as Birgit mentioned, that I led, we made a report in 2019, scientific report, saying that more than 20% of the CO2 emissions in the world can be solved if we are having sustainable use of the ocean and sustainable ocean industries. It's an enormous potential for innovation, new strategies, and women have to be part of that. All people have to be part of that. So when we are doing the energy transformation from fossil fuels to renewable energies, we have to make sure that women are a part of that. And that leads me to one of the core challenges that we still have. One is that we still are prone in our society that women are educating not on the natural science part and the technology sides. It's improving, it should be even forced more. That's why I believe in a strategy of working even more on natural sciences in our schools and our educational system. And we need role models. We need women who are showing off that you can be intelligent, hardcore in technology, and be a role model for young people and young women to work towards. And then we have to work on how do we make sure that the glass ceiling doesn't exist in these businesses? How do we make sure that the people who are employing are not just looking at the, well, you know what, we all have a joke about the typical engineer. Talks yes and no in social circumstances. Not the most extrovert person you know. and always have a solution if you can, make the numbers count. We have to make sure that that is a different picture, that the engineer picture of the future is a lady who is skilled, who works really hard, and who can help us transform the society to a non-polluting society and a zero-emission society in the future. That's one of the pictures that we have to imagine in our heads, and to try to get away from that engineering stereotype that sometimes might lead some girls to think engineering is not for me. But engineering or technology, data computer, all of these things are areas where you're solving the big problems for the future, and where we are going to manage to increase our welfare and support the welfare system that we have today. That's why education is important. And the second thing is, of course, that glass ceiling. Making sure that we work together, that we learn from each other, and when there are too few women in some businesses and some areas, and there still are, that we support each other, that we are supportive and pushing, giving people a possibility. For example, making sure that talented persons are tried, for example, in positions in governing bodies in other companies, on the boards and other places, to get more knowledge. My sister used to be technical or chief for Movi, the largest company in the world on salmon fishing. She is a biologist. She used to say that if you really want to go ahead in any business on that type, you have to know the core ways of the world. You have to know where you are making the money. And in salmon fishing, you are making the money by making sure that the biomass is moving fast and it's growing enough with as little as possible use of money for feeding the fish. So it's a basic, easy thing, but it's not easy when you do it. And I think it's extremely important. That's why I welcome your 3 initiatives today, because they are building this cooperation for ocean and energy businesses in the future. And just to remember that, this is the future for our country, and if women are not part of that, well, then we will have a growing inequality gap in the future, because the high-income, high-earning businesses will have fewer women. So that's our challenge together, because politicians can't make all of these decisions. They are individually based. But let's go out and talk to young girls about the possibilities in ocean and energy, and make sure that they are really looking at the possibility of working in these types of businesses in the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anna. And thank you for being with us today. You have no idea how much I think it means for everybody here that you are in. Yes. Yeah, did you have time to also join the panel?
No, I've just asked.
Sure? No? Oh yeah, then you can. Yes. Now we have a fantastic group of people that have, for me, are extremely inspirational joining on stage. We have with us Johan Andresen, owner of Ferd. We have with us Siri Kalvig from Nysnø, and we have Lina Konstantinovici, all the way from Silicon Valley, who is heading up Innovation 4.4 and Nexus Global's working group on the impact investment side. So please find your seats and I will join you. So, Johan, you have already been on stage today in the plenary with Anna. She unfortunately had to run, and we were able to keep you, which is very good. So, as we have heard today, we lag behind on equality in the business sectors. Through COVID, we see that the gender gap has just increased. We still have a long way to go when it comes to financial inclusions in our sectors. And they are so important for the future. And a group that holds large potential, but still considered a very small minority, are the female founders. So I want to hear from each of you very fast, and this is the pace of today, very short, effective, concrete output all the way, looking at what are our goals, challenges, and what is the best practice. So this you will experience all through today, and Johan, starting with you. Why do we need more women or diverse group to start, scale, and own companies?
Well, it's quite obvious because we like to invest in cool stuff, and women come up with cool stuff. Do you know that until the age of 17, women are in the majority when it comes to entrepreneurs? That's true. In the school system, you actually have entrepreneurial opportunities like ungdomsbedrift, and they are in the majority led by women, by girls. And then comes the russetiden, and everything comes crashing down. That's actually a value destructor of enormous proportions, and you really should get rid of it. But you have to really encourage those women to move on, to actually keep that entrepreneurial spirit. And you are older than that, I can see that. It's a compliment, by the way. So that means that you have responsibility for younger women to bring them along. It's not only the financing later stage, it's actually that they go on and try new stuff later on. So, I mean, we don't invest in women because they are women. Like Agnes, who will come on stage in a few minutes. Agnes and her team make cool stuff. I mean, they designed a new transmission system, an electrical transmission system that we love to invest in. So it's not that you really have to lift yourself, in a sense, because you are in the majority at a certain age, and from there on, we lose you. And that loss we cannot afford.
Thank you. And Siri, you are a serial entrepreneur. You are, I mean, I remember when I started my first company in 2012, you were one of very, very few female founders. Johan was one of the very few backing social entrepreneurs at the time. We didn't really have that entrepreneur startup ecosystem in Norway at all. So what do you think? You've been there already, and you are in ways also with Nysnø. Yeah, why do we need more women?
Yeah, thank you. And first, I would it's amazing to be here, because when I started my company soon 25 years ago, we didn't speak about entrepreneurs and founders like this. So this is just great. But at the same, as you answered, it's obvious. We, of course, need more female entrepreneurs or founders, because if we don't have it, we miss out a lot of ideas and good opportunities. That's firstly. Secondly, it's about equality and the gender gap. And then looking at Nysnø, Nysnø is an investment company, only invest in climate technology, a governmental climate investment company. And when we look at our deal flow, let's say the 1,000 latest companies we look at, only 3% is founded by women. And that's too bad. And we would really like state-of-the-art deal flow, and with more female entrepreneurs, we believe the deal flow will be much better. So we get lost of investment opportunity without all the brains from the women.
Thank you, Siri. And Lina, you are also another serial entrepreneur. You are an investor. You represent the country which is now topping our list globally on female founders, the US. You come here from Silicon Valley, and you have, I think, one of the strongest backgrounds ever I know of people scaling and mobilizing finance to this. So, yeah, your perspectives and 5 cents on this.
Thank you. First of all, good morning. It's great to be back here in Oslo with all of you. The question as to why, the obvious answer, as I think has been stated several times, is the world is comprised of at least 50% women. Yet when we look at key statistics of roles that women are not represented in at those numbers. So for example, if we look at women CEOs in Fortune 500 companies, less than 10.6% of Fortune 500 CEOs are women. 20% globally of board members are women. 4% of capital in Silicon Valley goes to female founders. there's a bit of a disparity there in the numbers. Yet at the same time, if we look at performance, according to Forbes, female-founded companies outperform male-founded companies by 35% or 35% ROI, higher ROI. Another Forbes study looked at venture fund and looked at its portfolio, where the female-founded companies in that portfolio outperformed by 60%, 60. So there's incentive for investors, there's incentive for society to bring those numbers up to closer to 50% for women. Having more women in key roles is beneficial to society, it's beneficial to investors, it's beneficial to our global economy. I'll leave it at that.
Thank you, Lina. And we are now preparing for the official launch of the 100 female founders, and we're going to have some of them up on stage. And I mean, this is an audience of potential resource and supporters and funders of female founders. And I would like to just hear and share with all of you just a very short sentence on which examples and best practices is that you can share from your work that we should adopt broader into our industries to accelerate more female entrepreneurship. Johan, I'm starting with you.
Well, the easy answer is that look for, if you want to make social change, many of the companies will be led by women. If you're looking to make a lot of money in edtech or climate tech or whatever, they will be run by men. So if you want to make a difference for female entrepreneurs and for society, they are mostly social entrepreneurs. Even at 35 or 45, the majority of the social entrepreneurs are women. But you are not investing in them, and neither are men. So the point is, if you're betting on female sports, maybe not, you should be betting on female entrepreneurs, because they will make you win.
Thank you. Siri.
Yes. Some good tips. That was the question. Yes. Well, we need role models. So I think it's great what you are doing, the tool with this 100 inspirational female founders, because we need more female role models. So show the women or the good women. And then another tip is, of course, if you are an investor and represent an investment company or something, you are more or less the top of the value chain. So what you have a lot of power, and you should use this to nudge companies you invest in. Or we also invest in funds, and we have very high standards for all ESG performance, including equality, and so you have to use your power there.
Thank you. And before Lina answers, I will just ask our female founders to prepare and get up towards the stage, and so our person with diplomas. So Lina, your best practices.
I would say the number one helpful thing we can do is to nurture more women investors. Women investors are really key for unlocking capital for female founders. And if a female founder has a great business plan and a great technology, great idea, but no access to capital, it becomes very challenging for that to turn into a successful business. So women investors are really key to unlocking the potential of female founders. And then I'd also like to just highlight again the importance of having role models. So I'll share just a very quick story. In the 1960s, Nichelle Nichols was the first female African-American on television in a position of power in her role as an executive decision maker on the bridge, and she inspired thousands and thousands of African-American girls in seeing themselves in that role, that was possible for them. So what I would love to see is more of those kinds of role models that really inspire young women today to see themselves as the CEO of a Fortune 500 company, a startup, an investor, and so on.
Thank you.
I can add one thing. There will be crowdfunding efforts coming for female founders.
Yes.
Get onto them. You can get onto with a small stake.
Because here we have a room full of investors, whether you already started to invest or not. This is all of us, right? And we don't have to wait. Now we are all going to stand up and leave our mics behind, and we are welcoming on the stage 5 of the 2023 100 Inspirational Female Founders. We have Danielle Southcott with Veer Group, and we need our diplomas. We have Agnes Arnadottir, the founder of Brim Explorer. And we have
Daniel?
Katarina Frosta, founder of Clean Sea Solutions. And we have Amalie Eilertsen, the CEO and co-founder of Nordsjord. And last but not least, Helene Ree Ruden of Ruden Energy and Ruden Water.
Gratulerer. Are you Amalie? Ja, hyggelig.
And in the next 2 panels, you will hear more about what they need. We will bring some more investors and accelerators on to the stage. And I hope that both our eminent panel here and the rest of this room, that you will spend inspiration from today finding out how can you get on board, team up with them, invest in them, and back them ahead in various ways as they scale for the future. So thank you very much, and congratulations for you for this first ever 100 list. And I hope, how many of you is it that are going to join us for the Female Founders Expedition up to from Svalbard? 2025? You're on board? Okay, excellent, see you there. So I will keep Helena, and I will keep you, Danielle. And I think, are we losing, are we
Agnes.
lacking one, Agnes? Agnes has her baby here, so it might be we will bring her on board. So, yes, there you are. So did my mom take care of your baby? Great, excellent. So, work-family fusion. Okay, so I will say thank you to Johan, Siri, and Lina. Thank you so much for your support. And now we are inviting you guys to sit down, inviting also Patrick Sandal and Tina Saltvedt to join us on the stage and hear a little bit more about this scaling part. Sileki, I will stand. Okay. So, let's see. So, with us here, we have the female founders focused on the asset-heavy solutions, which is quite a tricky ball game. It's not like you're scaling a startup in 2 seconds. It's like it takes a long time, costs a lot of money. And I wanted to bring in Tina and Patrick because they represent the type of big capital that these asset-heavy founders need and might not be ready for yet, but still, we want these founders to be on the radars. So I wanted to hear firstly from the founders, very short. So we have just seen your companies represented with the videos on the stage, and I wanted to just hear very, very fast which key problem you solve with your company, and today, which are the 2 key resource needs most critical for you to scale ahead? And it's 1 minute each. Agnes, you go first.
Just while my baby started crying, it's perfect. Yeah. So when we started Brim Explorer in 2018, we set ourselves 3 goals. We wanted to push for greener tourism in Norway by being the first company to commercialize fully on high quality and low and zero emission day tours in the Arctic specifically. We also wanted to showcase that it made sense financially to invest in those vessels. As the perfect electric sightseeing vessel didn't exist, we had to develop it and design it ourselves. Our experience was that existing solutions were both inefficient and costly, so we figured out we had to do it on our own. And our second goal then became to develop an energy efficient and cost efficient and optimized boat concept that we then could standardize. Standardize as a good electric solution for coastal tourism or transport. The third goal was to create as much awareness as possible amongst our guests and create ocean ambassadors from all over the world. We bring thousands of people from all over the world on our tours every day, and therefore we make sure to talk about climate, ocean health, and also marine life. And we hope that that awareness brings back good memories, but also maybe a call to action.
Thank you, Agnes. And Danielle, I know that you have been visiting Agnes' family. You have been inspired by Agnes. So, yeah, the goals and the needs for Veer today.
Thank you very much. My name is Danielle Southcott. I'm the founder of Veer. And yes, I did work for your family up in Iceland a few years ago. It was very inspirational to me. Veer will gain breakthrough momentum by deploying the first clean container ship to cross an ocean. I'd like to actually go back and begin by recognizing that our headquarters are on the unceded ancestral territory of the Mi'kmaq people, and our company is registered in the unceded ancestral territory of the Lukaya people in the Bahamas. So we are going to be combining clean hydrogen fuel cells with wind to deploy the first clean container ship to cross an ocean. And what do we need? Is that what we need?
Yes.
So there are a number of things that we need. We're looking for impact investment. We're also looking for iconic brands that are mission aligned to add their voice to our mission. So iconic brands that are mission aligned could be any brand that says, we want to ship emission free when it's available. So if anyone knows any brands that wish this was already available, please add your voice to our movement. And other than that, just sharing and liking, because this is a movement that we're building together and very much appreciate it.
Thank you, Danielle. And Helena, you are building something very different, but also extremely important. Ruden, what do you need and what do you solve?
Okay, thanks, Birgit. So when we realized that 50% globally of all the surplus energy from combustion plants, smelters, everything are being lost, basically up to the air, we decided that we had the competence to do something. 50% of all energy output today, only in the EU, equals 300 terawatt hours, which is the whole energy consumption of Italy per year. So, so I guess you've seen the video?
Yes.
Okay, so what the heat technology that we have developed in Ruden does is it stores this energy. So we equalize seasonal variations. So for instance, in Tromsø, all the garbage that they burn during summertime that they don't need for the district heating is now being put down into this reservoir and being distributed during winter. And this, of course, reduces the reliance and the usage of the electrical grid, which is a very important thing we need to focus on. And it also represents, of course, a very substantial CO2 reduction because you will use and recycle the energy that you already produced. So that's basically the problem we solve. Mm. And what we need, well, I mean, the name of this track is asset heavy. So yes. It's heavy. You need assets. And I could probably sit here for a couple of hours, but if I need to, I definitely need producers of surplus energy globally. It could be combustion plants, smelters, I mean, anything that produces heat from 10 degrees up to 400 degrees we can handle. We definitely need capital, impact investment. Sorry. we also need better aimed public support schemes. It's probably another debate, but it's really important for me to put it on the table. And we need the oil and gas sector, as you might have seen. We definitely need their competence and people. So anyone from the oil and gas sector, come talk to us.
Thank you. Then we have very short. We have a very tight pack today, and even shorter now for Patrick and Tina. What have your organization, I think we'll take you first, Patrick. What goals has Investinor set when it comes to diversity, and how is it that, what examples have you seen from financial sector that can really enable us to finance and invest more in these more diverse entrepreneurs?
First of all, I must say that I have two daughters that are 20 and 21. And they are asking me, why are you talking about this? Is this a problem? And I have to tell them that yes, it is. So for us at Investinor, diversity is part of our DNA. Still, if you look at the picture of Investinor, it's only me that are college, so we still have some, steps to take as well. I think for us, it's mandatory that the companies we invest in have diversity on their plate. They don't have to have like 50-50 from the start, but they're going to strive for it. They don't have to have 50-50 in the board, but they have to strive for it. And the same goes for the funds that we are investing in. We have invested in unconventional venture, which is driven by women. Springbank, which is Jane Koss with her two female founders, and also Hayden, of course. So we are trying to invest in the funds where we see women, and because we know that they will definitely invest in women. And we are trying to, by ourselves, to invest, try to find, founders like you. It's amazing. But it's not that easy. And I just spoke to Helena, so we agreed to have a chat afterwards, because when you're starting to do investments and suddenly you are, want to attract investors, that's where I think the challenges for women are. Because most of the people you meet are men, and men have this ability to look at men in a different way than women. So we need to educate the men and also educate the women, so that you go in there and don't try to be a man.
And we have to leave the word also now to Tina. We're a little bit over into the next panel part, so let's just, Tina, the goals of Nordea, and what do you see of the best practice to move and change this?
First of all, we have to start with ourselves. And we started a few years ago, actually here at the SHE conference. But I think what we look at in companies is if they have plans, they have a goal. It has to be a plan how to reach this goal. So you need short-term, medium-term, and long-term plans. They have to be realistic. Because otherwise, how could you possibly believe in a goal that is maybe 10, 15 years from now if you don't see how you're actually going to reach that goal? And then we're looking into who is in the management and leadership positions. And that is both the leadership or management of the company and also of the board. That is important, because those two together, they set the direction for the companies. And then also, I think it's important to see how, do you have, for example, KPIs? Do you have any measurements of the management that is linked to the actual goals they've set within sustainability? For example, equality. So I'm thinking these kind of science structure. Yes. We are looking for when we're looking at companies, either if we're financing them or if we are investing in them.
Thank you so much, Tina. I wish I could spend all day with you. We have to bring the next panel on. Congratulations to you guys, and I hope you use this opportunity to really bond and connect. So thank you so much for joining today. And we have the next part, the enabling technologies. That is also a very different part, and here we wanted to hear from hardcore industry accelerators that are also coming in and growing these companies. So I welcome to the stage, for this part, we have with us Katarina and Amalia from the founder side, and we have Clara Venture Labs, we have Microsoft, and we have Equinor Techstars Energy Accelerator. And while you sit down, I think that one of the things we are the most proud of during the pilot partnership we now have had with Equinor Techstars to help them find female founders is that among only 9 founders that made the Techstars program, Amalia Norsjord is one of them. So that is, I think, the great start of it. Amalia, what are your key needs at this moment?
Our key needs is talent. Human minds that have the motivation to make a change, the eagerness to take Norsjord to a global born company, and the curiosity and knowledge to fulfill our vision on giving the ocean a voice and saving it with sustainable technology.
Thank you. And Katarina, we've been collaborating for now a long time because Clean Sea Solutions came out around the same time when we funded the tool. What is it that you guys need?
At the moment now, we really need more first customers, more strategic partners, and of course investors and money. We are at the point now that we are out of the market with the first products and prototype the next, so we have very good talented people on board at the moment.
Thank you. And then we have 3 enablers, accelerators, coming from great, amazing global environments, asset heavy, strong resources, I mean, wow. And I want to hear, first I think I will start with Michelle and Clara. I want to hear, first, of course, if you have already set some goals to integrate diversity as part of the program, and I wanted to hear your best case example, how industry accelerators can get better at integrating diversity as part of their support in scaling companies for the future.
Well, thank you, Birgit. A lot to answer in just a minute. Yes, of course, we have set goals, just like I probably will imagine everyone has, with the Sustainable Development Goals and the ESG reporting. But when it comes to an end, it's the glossy piece of paper, which is not how you work on the diversity, because you have to actually walk the talk. And I see we have to have good examples, we have to get them out there, we have to get them visible, and we have to build a reputation of where we can unleash the full potentials of talents within technology development. And when it comes to an example, I would say as chairman of one of our venture companies, additive manufacturing, there was only male employees. And as chair, I just said, no more hiring until you have a diverse selection members or people to select. And when you have 50-50 on that, then you can hire. And they ended up with hiring 2 females. So I think we did a good job there.
Very well. Milou from Techstars. And I mean, you have so many applicants, but you were lacking female applicants to your Techstars program. And what have you done? Of course, you've partnered up with us in Tool to find the women. What else have you done? And what is that you have done that is the best practice part that you can share with the audience?
Yes. Yeah, thank you so much for that question. You know, the Equinor and Techstars Energy Accelerator, it's a partnership together with Techstars and now also with people like yourself. And we focus on startups that are active in the energy transition. And in Equinor, we say to get there together for a reason. And that also means when it comes to startups and female founders. So when we were looking at the cohort from 2023, we realized that we had to do something differently because we weren't reaching the right audience. And then we realized that small changes really make a big difference. So one of the changes that we made was to create a more hybrid program for this year to make sure that there were more breaks, longer weekends. And because of that, we actually attracted much more parents. So no longer only kind of the younger generation just out of university, but parents with responsibilities, children, and they, oh, sorry.
I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry.
And I'm so sorry for you, Tala. We will have to go back to the Ocean Expo, I think, to pick your brains for Microsoft, because I'm getting the time out. For anyone, this is a long journey we're on. It just started now. Go on Toolspawn to find the founders and figure out how you can start teaming up with them. Thank you so much for this session. We will be back at 1:15 with Børge Brende, World Economic Forum, and a number of amazing stakeholders looking at ocean from vision to reality on equality and energy. Thank you so much for now. I'm sorry, Tala.